This man came to the theater for a 3D movie, but he only had his 2D glasses with him. What happened next amazed him, because no one but him can see what he sees. At the movie's start, we see Dusty casually driving, munching on a burger, and jamming to tunes from the 80s. Despite being 50, he leads a carefree life without a stable job. This lifestyle has led to the loss of all his friends, a fact that Dusty seems indifferent about. However, his world takes a turn when a bunch of millennials catch him on video during one of his typical days. Eventually, his niece Chloe joins him in the car, and together, they head to a movie theater. They have a tradition of watching films together, a practice that started when Chloe was just a young girl and continues to this day. Despite their bond, it's clear Chloe sometimes views her uncle as peculiar because of the significant difference in their ages and ways of life. This difference is highlighted when Dusty plays a song from the past, which Chloe dismisses as dull. Upon arriving at a theater called Cinethrax, they disagree over which movie to watch. Dusty is keen on rewatching a favorite film from the 1980s for the 11th time, while Chloe is interested in a new 3D movie exclusive to Cinethrax. Chloe, being determined, manages to get her way in the end. As expected, Uncle Dusty finds the surroundings distasteful, and to add insult to injury, he realizes he doesn't have enough cash to cover the expensive movie tickets. Chloe ends up reluctantly footing the bill. Oddly enough, every employee at Cinethrax, from the ticket seller to the security guards, wears a downcast look. Before stepping into the cinema hall, Uncle Dusty bins the 3D glasses provided and takes out his own bulky glasses, which he affectionately calls shifters. He imported these special glasses to convert 3D films into regular 2D, given his strong aversion to 3D cinema. He even brought an extra pair for Chloe, but predictably, she shows no interest in using them. Afterwards, Dusty heads to the snack bar for some popcorn, where he is encircled by a group of youngsters curious about whether he mistakenly wandered into the 3D section. Dusty then makes his way into the main auditorium and notices the good-looking Cinethrax manager chatting up Chloe. When Dusty approaches, the manager, Zach, offers a quick explanation before leaving. At that moment, two of Chloe's friends arrive and sit next to her. It becomes apparent that meeting her uncle was merely an excuse for Chloe to get out of the house. Dusty feels let down that Chloe isn't spending time with him, especially since her friends have taken over his spot. Despite his attempts to convince her, Chloe declines to sit with him. She starts to view her uncle as a boring individual who only embarrasses her in front of her friends. Despite feeling hurt by these revelations, Dusty still decides to sit right behind Chloe. Shortly thereafter, Zach steps up to the stage and makes an unexpected announcement. He lays down the rules, instructing everyone to wear their Cinethrax 3D glasses and to avoid using their mobile phones. This announcement excites the millennials, who start cheering joyfully. The chosen movie then begins, and the 3D effects are so realistic that despite the peculiar acting and storyline of the love story, the younger audience thoroughly enjoys the movie. They express their enthusiasm loudly with cheers and applause at every scene. Uncle Dusty, lacking the 3D glasses, finds the movie unappealing and is keen to leave. He remembers his shifting spectacles and decides to wear them. However, Dusty remains unimpressed as the glasses only transform the vivid 3D into a dull 2D experience for him. Seeking to cause a bit of disturbance, he decides to annoy those sitting nearby. He points out to one of Chloe's friends, who is texting during the movie, that phone use is not allowed, deliberately causing a small scene that irritates the other millennials around him. Eventually, Chloe persuades her friend to stop using the phone so they can all watch the movie without interruptions. As the movie goes on, Dusty grows even more disinterested until he notices something odd on the screen, like a glitch. Removing his shifting glasses, he sees nothing unusual. Confused, Dusty wants to try on the Cinethrax glasses for a real cinematic experience. He asks Chloe if he could borrow her glasses for a bit, but by now she's fed up with what she sees as her uncle's childish antics. She scolds him harshly for making her look foolish in front of her companions and insists that he act appropriately. Left with no other option and resumes watching the movie. Suddenly, he spots an enormous worm-like creature appearing to emerge from the screen. The presence of the worm is completely unnoticed by the young audience in the theater, but Dusty clearly sees it. Out of fright, he quickly takes off his glasses, and the worm disappears. Convinced that his 2D glasses are somehow linked to this bizarre occurrence, he puts them back on. Immediately, a huge worm seems to lunge at him from the screen, causing Dusty to scream in fear and create a scene. In the process, he also scatters his popcorn over Chloe and her friends, which angers the millennials around him. The commotion quickly attracts Zach, the manager of Cinethrax, who comes over to remove Dusty, much to the satisfaction of the other young moviegoers. Concerned about her uncle's situation, Chloe follows him outside. Zach concludes that the older man must have mistaken the highly realistic 3D effects for real-life events as Dusty tries to convey his encounter with something emerging from the screen outside. Dusty remains convinced he witnessed a worm-like entity. Resolving to ask for a refund and leave, he is surprised when Chloe decides to stay. She criticizes her uncle for consistently putting her in awkward situations just to draw attention to himself. After expressing her frustration, she turns her back on him and heads back into the theater. As Dusty tries to follow her, Zach intervenes, informing him that he's no longer allowed inside. Zach leads him to the projection room as he's unable to stay in the main lobby. There, Zach and his team discuss how Cinethrax's cutting-edge filming techniques and graphics are set to dominate the film industry worldwide. They argue that 2D films are outdated and that 3D is the current trend. They even encourage Dusty to try it out, promising a refund if he remains unimpressed. Zach then offers Dusty a pair of Cinethrax glasses. After pondering for a moment, Dusty decides against it. This refusal angers the Cinethrax staff, who suddenly turn into creatures resembling zombies. They attack Dusty, nearly causing him to run into a sharp object. However, Dusty manages to break free from their clutches. Afterward, Dusty makes his way to the entrance hall, looking for an exit. However, escaping proves impossible as all the Cinethrax staff have turned into zombies and are on the hunt for him. Dusty sneaks into a storage room, where he prepares to do the one thing he loathes: texting. He sends a series of messages to Chloe, apologizing for his behavior and expressing his fear of losing her. He begins to warn her about the danger. But before he can finish, Zach and the others burst in and drag him away. Meanwhile, Chloe starts feeling guilty about her earlier harsh words towards her uncle. Finding his shifter glasses on the floor, she decides to put them on. Suddenly, through the lenses, she spots an enormous tentacle creature dominating the cinema screen. Chloe finds herself as the sole person not affected in the cinema, as the creature starts sapping the life from all other millennials present. Despite the overwhelming odds, Chloe manages to defend herself against the swarm of infected millennials, using a decorative sword to fight her way into the projection room. Once inside, she realizes the truth of her uncle's warnings upon seeing him restrained and chained to a chair. Before she can free him, Zach and his crew appear and capture her. Zach reveals the true cause of the chaos: an alien being from another galaxy, intent on expanding its species, is behind the disaster. Zach proclaims that becoming infected was the best thing to ever happen to him, as he no longer feels pain or worry. He suggests that the alien aims to help Dusty and Chloe move beyond their bleak and monotonous lives, urging them to welcome this transformation. He then makes Dusty watch the film with a pair of Cinethrax 3D glasses, intending to turn him into one of their own. Just in the nick of time, Chloe intervenes, attacking the alien with a piece of broken glass. This action momentarily disorients the zombie-like infected, allowing Chloe to unshackle her uncle. However, just as they prepare to escape, Zach releases a tentacle from his mouth, ensnaring Chloe and starting to take control over her. She begins to twirl, signaling that the alien presence has begun to infiltrate her body. Uncle Dusty grabs an axe and decapitates Zach. However, the damage had already been inflicted. They make their way to the exit, and upon opening it, Dusty sees that a colossal alien has laid waste to the city beyond. Chloe's perspective shifts simultaneously. She encourages her uncle to come to terms with the new reality and acknowledges that there's no going back. She echoes Zach's sentiment, claiming a life free from pain and worry in this new existence. Soon, the other millennials and Cinethrax staff members gather, persuading him to accept this new reality. They even perform a song in an attempt to influence Dusty's decision. Feeling hopeless, Dusty relents and joins in the song. Everyone heads back into the theater to watch the movie again. Chloe hands her uncle a pair of Cinethrax glasses, urging him to undergo the transformation and join them. Fully under the alien's influence now, Chloe watches as Dusty anxiously anticipates the alien's takeover. Then Dusty sits, fraught with anticipation for what comes next, the end. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like our channel and subscribe. If you enjoy content like this also, let us know what movie you would love us to recap for you.